Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and I have been without electricity for over 24 hours. The power is supposed to come back on today, but I'm going to do this video old school, which means under 12 minutes and zero editing. That way I still have plenty of time to upload it and link all the things I'm going to link. So let's talk empties. I have done this video. This will be my third one. I will link my empties video for 2022, 2023, and this one. If you want a playlist, I can create one of those. So for sketchbooks used up for this year, this is one I made in August, September. This is from the Strathmore 500 series. This was a huge roll of paper, and I cut a big square and cut that up and folded it. I did a granulating watercolor wash and then did ink portraits, and I can link a sketchbook tour playlist if you want to see what this looks like all put together. But this is one sketchbook that I created and filled up. The second one I did is the Lecterm A6. This is all botanicals. I did this in the month of October as a Vlogtober drawing challenge. This is primarily colored pencil and some fineliner ink. And then both of these were done overlapping with this one. So this is the Midori Hibino. This is a huge 365 planner. I turned it into a sketchbook because it turns out I didn't need all the planner. My plans changed for the year. So I've been doing an A6 drawing challenge every single day this year. I have a couple weeks left before I do this sketchbook tour. So that's why I won't be doing it on this video. But this is the one that overlapped with these two. So these are all the paper products I have used up this year for drawing challenges. Now let's get into supplies. I used up a lot of ink this year. A lot of ink. A lot of ink. I know. You're like, that's it? All you did with those tiny sketchbooks. I know, but I used up a lot of ink. I didn't use up any colored pencils this year. A lot of pen. It's a lot of pen, so stay with me. There were some one-off products that I used up. I used up this. This is a brush cleaner, but I purchased a replacement back in June that's larger. So we're good there. This is a Winsor Newton drawing ink. This is a cobalt, and I purchased a replacement. This is the Ferris wheel press. This is like Beyond the Riveting Pond or something. It's a very similar kind of color, a very cyan color, but this one has glitter. So, and you can see I've been using quite a bit. So this has a replacement. I used up, this is sort of an outdoor craft for doing geocaching and fun outdoor painting projects. I had purchased a replacement for that one already back in June. I could link that haul video. And then I used up one watercolor pan, and this was my Schmincke Hydrum Aquarelle. This was the gold, even though it has a lot of blue, has a little bit of blue ink on it. This was my gold pan, and I used this one up. And I purchased a gold gouache. And here's my old white tube, and I purchased a new white gouache, the Holbein. So these both have replacements that I have already purchased. I used up another pan that had some Neocolor 2. Excuse me. I had some Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 sort of shavings in here that I was, it was a mixture that I had made. And I used that up. I will be recycling these pans and probably this for another product. So it's not going to waste. As far as pens go, I used a lot of gold this year. And you can see a lot of this sort of, this one broke. I'll be replacing this one for sure. But I used a lot of this teal color, like a lot of it. A lot of golds, a lot of gold, a lot of gold, and a silver. A lot of gold, a lot of silver. This is one that, this is copper. This is the Sarasa. I didn't realize I was almost out of this, and I went to use this the first week of January, and it was almost all done. So when June came for me to purchase my mediums and decide what I needed for the year, I elected not to replace this because the one place that sells this budget jet pens, I couldn't meet the minimum requirement for free shipping, and it just wasn't worth it for the price. You can do a watercolor mixture. If you mix gold with a sort of a brown, and you can make copper. Basically, a burnt sienna with a gold makes a really nice looking copper. So I just opted to sort of create my own copper watercolor style, but I will be repurchasing this eventually. The rest, there's just a lot of black fine liners that I used up. A lot of black fine liners. And I used these up. My replacement for this is the isograph, the Rotring isograph that I own. So there isn't a lot here I'm going to be replacing, like one for one. Probably the only one is this one, and then eventually when I use up my other black felt tip pens, maybe a new black Tombow, maybe these two in like a year or so. These two I used up journaling. I journal every single day, so I went through 2 Bic pens this year. I know there's 2 weeks left in December, so this video is coming a little bit early, but again, I still wanted to put a video out this week, and there really isn't anything that's so low in ink or so low in product that it would make it into this video. I had some smaller colored pencils that I showed you last year, and I retired those this year, but because I showed you last year, I don't need to show them again. So here are all the Pilot pens I used this year. This one, some of these broke and fell apart, but I used the innards. So I used a lot of Pilot pens this year. It's just a very, very ink heavy year for all the pens I used up. So if you are not a pen and ink person, or you don't create every day, this is the amount of product I used up. This is to give you an idea about purchasing, about creating, about how much you actually need in a year to get by. You don't need as much as you think you need. That's sort of the long and short of it. And these are, like these ones right here, and I've mentioned this before. These are the Uniball Signo. These are a high release ink. These are really easy to use up. Really, really easy. They have great opacity. They're like an 08 or an 09 size. They're a really wide tip that's very high release. So using these up isn't any big surprise or shock. And some of these pens are just dead. Yeah, like the Sharpies. I don't create a lot in Sharpie, but these Sharpies are done. Crafts and fun things at home. I kind of use those up. This guy is broken. I don't know what happened with this one. He just pours out color. So I have a couple broken ones. This one's another broken one, and something happened with the tip. And there wasn't a lot of ink left. You can see there isn't much left, but I couldn't access it. This is a Pilot Juice. And again, these ones were journaling. So I think I use about 3 to 4 pens a year just for journaling. I think that's what this boils down to. But you can see, unless you're doing watercolor, like I use this pan, I don't know, every other day to use it up. And this one was already almost all the way used up because this was just little shavings in here. It's really hard to use up an entire product. And this I'd had for years. And this I'd had for years. It's an old label, the Holbein gouache. And this I've had for years. So if you don't create every day, you don't draw every day, or you don't fill the page, or you work real small, This is how much I used up. I can't tell if this is a lot or a little. It's subjective. You'll have to, I mean, if you work large, this is probably nothing. You probably go through huge tubes or huge product things. If you're using like pastel or charcoal, like things in stick form, and you want to track your progress, you can always trace them around and see like, oh, I used half this product this year. You just start at the beginning of the year, trace them around in a sketchbook or in a book so you have sort of a record of how much you're using so you know how much to order. If you're doing a low buy or a no buy, it's sort of how you keep track of progress. Like this was a very specialty item I got in an art snacks, in 2017 maybe. A fig Futabiyori metallic. Won't be replacing that. There's no need. So, ta-da! What I did in a year. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.